What is up guys, JayFerGaming here, welcome back to my F1 2016 career mode. This is the German Grand Prix. If you're new to my channel, do remember to check out all my other videos and subscribe and all that jazz. And I'm going to spoil things right now if you haven't seen them already. But recently, we haven't been in great form. You can tell by driver position and our position in the standings. We were in the top 4, but we've been just dropping off with our form recently. We need to pick things up, and I feel like Germany's the track where we can pick things up because it is a good track, especially for racing. So hopefully we can have a good one this weekend. Mercedes have an upgrade for their home Grand Prix, and you can see from the rivalry how bad we've been doing. Lewis Hamilton has absolutely battered us, but in terms of our car, just behind Ferrari, Manor seem to be dropping down, especially with Mercedes upgrade, but I'll be looking to reduce the chassis weight, I think. I'm going to be going for an upgrade, and I think we need to add one of them more, like the bigger jumps, so we can jump over Ferrari, Mercedes and Manor. But we can see we have been struggling recently, but in terms of past results of Germany, a P3 and a P7, so we've got some decent form. So, into qualifying here. On our final run, for once, we're not like down in 18th after our first run. I am pretty good around here, but I was, in terms of keeping up with the Ultimate AI, once again struggling. It is so difficult. I'm just not 100% up to pace with them. But we are half a second up at the moment on our previous best, to hopefully trying to get into the top 10. Very tricky final few corners here, but we're coming to the line. We've lost a bit of time, but it should be an improvement, a vast improvement, and where we can end up, it's P14. We jumped to 1 position. We're only 9/10 off pole, but it's not looking great. But Hamilton got disqualified, so in terms of the driver rivalry, that could help us out, but it's nearly over. We had potential to be up there. Hulkenberg in P6, so let's get ready for the Grand Prix. Let's go. Well, what a dramatic change in the weather. It's absolutely chucking it down, but we should have some mixed strategy in this race, with heavy rain going to light rain and then a dry race. So strategy, it could help us out in terms of our race pace, in terms of the rain, pace in the rain. We are pretty good in the wet. If you'd remember back to Canada, I do like it wet, but we're getting ready, and away we go. We've been promoted to P13 with, I think, Carlos Sainz's penalty, so let's see if we can get a clean turn 1. It'll be very tricky in the wet, and Massa's got a great start there, but we hang around the outside of him. We can use the runoff area here. Cars in real life tend to do that quite a lot. There's a yellow flag, so the cars just slow up dramatically with the yellow flag, but we're looking for the inside line. Into turn 2, up the inside of Vettel. There's a car on our inside, nowhere to go, and I think that car spun. Illegal overtake on Vettel, which is a bit harsh. Alonso's out the race, not sure what happened there. But it seems like quite a lot of carnage at the start. The VSC is out. So let's have a look at a couple of replays of what happened. Sainz went up my inside here. Stupid move. Nowhere to go. I had to turn in because I had the Ferrari on our outside. And this is what happened behind. The two McLarens came to blows, and a Haas took out Alonso. So that's kind of unlucky for him. It's brought out the virtual safety car. So things are neutralised for now. We made it through 2 corners. But we're up to P12, bit of a gap ahead, which we should close down. And I was trying to take advantage of the virtual safety car ending. Talk about getting your timing wrong. I was going for it there, had to back off, and then, yeah, lost the momentum. Yeah, I could really work on my safety car and virtual safety car restarts. Probably got to time it a little better than that. But we skipped lap 6 because not a lot happened. I was like a second behind Vettel, just trying to close in on this big group of cars. But it seems like the rain is turning to light rain any minute now, and we're getting the recommendation now to go on to intermediate tyres. But the issue I have right now is that in that group of cars ahead of us is Nico Hulkenberg. That's an awful corner cut. Please forget about that. But Hulkenberg's coming into the pits. I wasn't sure if he was in this group, and it's a last minute change. I saw the indication that teammate is in the pit, so I had to stay out for another lap. This is what I get for being the number 2 driver, just not as fast as Nico. So obviously this is the optimum time to be coming into the pit, so this is going to hurt myself, Vettel and Verstappen. But we all come in at the end of the next lap. So you'd think we drop down the field a little bit, or lose a bit of time in my case, because I wasn't under pressure from behind, so we might lose a little bit of time. So Inter's out the pits, we're back out in P12. It looks like Verstappen and Vettel have lost out ahead. They were in the pack and have dropped behind the pack, but it's very close from around P3, P4, all the way back to P12, so if we have a good stint here, we could easily make up a number of positions. Now we're skimming to lap 9, ahead of us, Vettel is battling with Danny Kvyat in the Toro Rosso. Verstappen's having a look here as well, but so the two cars side by side are holding up. I nearly said Jos Verstappen there, getting mixed up, Max Verstappen there, but it's giving us the momentum. We've got a shot again, Verstappen, into the braking zone. I've had a few incidents here over the years, no comments there, but up the inside of Verstappen, we get the move done up to P11, but in races this season, I have been very comfortable in the intermediate conditions. That's probably when I've outpaced the AI the most, and there's a yellow flag, and Vettel seems to be going very slow here, and I realised at the last second, he's incredibly slow for that corner. He's got a puncture, and yeah, just gifted me a free position. That's pretty unlucky for him. He'd been on them tyres for a couple of laps, so it's a bit of a random puncture, I've got to say, but it puts us into the points at last. We're on the back of Danny Kvyat. We could do with getting ahead of him as soon as possible, because he isn't as quick as the cars ahead in the fast pack, we'll call them. I should be fighting with them, and of course I need to get ahead of Hulkenberg for when it goes for the transition to dry tyres, because that'll be important in terms of strategy. We get ahead of Kvyat quite easily. Of course, this car is extremely efficient with straight line speed. That's why I don't upgrade the engine at all, because I don't feel it's really that necessary. But out to P9, now hoping to close onto the pack ahead of us, which we do, takes a few laps. Raikkonen overtook Rosberg. Rosberg just seems pretty slow. The Mercedes really, at times, obviously they win some races, but they seem very slow and lethargic. They really do need some more upgrades. We're closing in on Nico here. Going up the inside, he's going to leave the door open. We just slide it up the inside there into turn 2, and that's exactly what we need. But will he fight back on this straight? No, it looks like he's dropped back quite a bit. We had better traction, and the power of our engine should pull us away, even though they of course have a Mercedes power unit as well. So skipping to lap 16 here. I'm trying to catch up to the back of Raikkonen, who's embroiled in a battle with Daniel Ricciardo, the world champion from season 2. Is really having a big struggle this year. He really just hasn't had the car underneath him, and he's been making mistakes. But Raikkonen really doesn't help anyone apart from myself there. He blocks Ricciardo, they make slight contact and just halt each other up. So I get 2 easy positions there. Thank you very much. So we're up to P6, trying to close in on our former teammate Julian Palmer, but still Hulkenberg is ahead of us, and you can see by the conditions in the air and on the track is definitely drying up. So I thought I might have to make a bit of a gamble here, because of course if I pit on the optimum lap, which Hulkenberg will do, then I'm going to get held up in the pits. We're going to double stack, or I could just go on for another lap and lose even more time. So I thought I'm going to take a slight gamble here. I feel like next lap probably would be the optimum time, so I'm going to go into the pits now. I feel like this would be better than waiting an extra 2 laps or stacking. So we're going to put on the medium compound tyres. I wasn't sure which compound would take us to the end, but how does the car feel? That's the important thing. And you can see by the pit exit, we were a bit twitchy, but we might be okay. This braking zone's usually key, and we don't hit the apex. It's definitely not the optimum time for dry tyres. Let's see what Rosberg does behind us, and he gets, I think, better traction. So using the slipstream, he might be able to breeze past us. Is he closing in enough? He's not really. DRS hasn't been enabled yet. We actually defend from him. He's really putting us under pressure. We brake very hard, but still, it's just a little bit too much. Rosberg gets ahead of us, takes a position and just moves in front of us, and we've put him in the wall. That was definitely not my fault at all. You'll see from Rosberg, he just makes a weird movement. He's easily got the position. He's ahead, and then he turns left. I know I've been slating Rosberg for not turning in earlier on in the season, but he turned in unnecessarily there. Why, Rosberg? Why? But we're getting told to go onto the intermediate tyres, make another pit stop, which is absolutely stupid. You can see we are struggling, but still, it's like, I think another lap and then everyone else will be on dry tyres, as you'll see here. As the cars are coming out the pits, we come through turn 1. Where are we going to end up overall? It's P8, so we have lost out in terms of a couple of positions, but if we stacked we would have lost even more time. If we would have pitted the end of lap 21, we'd have lost even more time than that, I think. So I think we made the sensible decision, but being behind Nico in the order has screwed us, and I need to be up there more often just so I can be fighting for the bigger points and have the optimum strategy. Need to pick up my game. It's very difficult on this Ultimate AI. I do keep repeating myself, but I couldn't catch up to Raikkonen in P7. I did close in a little bit, by a couple of seconds, thanks to the two Saubers. I swear these two Saubers are always nose to tail with each other and always getting in the way. I mean, I could have used the classic Ferrari team radio, which I seem to use quite a lot, usually with the Saubers as well. But luckily Ericsson gets out the way. We have lost some time there compared to Kimi ahead of us, but I don't think we're going to catch up to him. These tyres will last till the end. We're pushing so hard, but his pace... It was close at pace, but he was just that slight bit quicker. Esteban Gutierrez is out the race. That's an awful corner cut. It's very tricky turn one, I've got to say. Lucky, strict corner cutting rules aren't on, but Gutierrez has retired just at this corner. I didn't actually see from the replay, but you can always presume it's an engine blowout, but I was hoping for a safety car. Rosberg is out on lap 30. Safety car? No, because we could make a pit stop, come out on the soft compound tyres. We might drop a position or two, but we can attack while the AI are on older tyres. But no safety car at all. I don't know if there's been a patch recently, but I don't see the safety car as often as we used to. But we get to the final lap. Unfortunately, not too much action. We just couldn't catch up to Raikkonen, and we were slightly quicker than Kvyat behind us. So we're settled in P8. It's going to be more solid points, but it's not the big points I need. I think we're probably going to be aiming for next season. In terms of R&D, we might seize it early just to help us. Next season, I reckon, is going to be the title push. But in the German Grand Prix, we have come home in P8, and we get 4 points towards our tally. So it's not complete disappointment. Could I have improved that? Probably not. Having Hülkenberg ahead of us in the order didn't help, but solid points for the team. We might as well just aim to get as high in the standings as we can. Magnussen wins again. He is putting on a serious push for this title. He's doing a fantastic job in his first season back. Haryanto gets a fantastic second place in Manor. Hülkenberg 4th, myself 8th. Other notable finishers and the Toro Rossos round out the top 10, but we've beaten our rival Hamilton, though, was it 26 to 8 points? It's not going to help us because he's clearly going to win. But we see the 3 retirements. No safety car. We could have done with a safety car then, I think. But in terms of the driver standings, we are still in P7. 1 point behind our rival Hamilton. Magnussen, what a performance he's putting in. But the battle behind us is getting pretty intense. I've got to say, Hülkenberg, he is seriously outperforming our car this season. We've got the 7th quickest car, and he's in P4 in the standings. And that's the kind of teammate I want. The one that's going to challenge me. Pretty much what Palmer didn't do in my first 2 seasons, so it's going to allow me to pick up my performance, especially next season. From now on, we're aiming for next season. Just do the best we can this season, title next year. So, Constructors were miles behind Renault, but we're just ahead of Red Bull, so battling for P2 in the Force Indias. So, if you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already to my channel. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in my next video. Goodbye!